Welcome into your Hampton Roads real estate update for June 15th, 2023. Each and every week on the Moving in Norfolk channel, we want to bring you an update of what's moving and shaking in the Hampton Roads market so that way that you can always be up on the finest news of what's going on in real estate and just have a perspective of what we see happening in the market. And this gives us a chance to actually just have a conversation with you about the dialogue that we see that's happening across the market. Each week, we will bring you trends and analysis, and we will even be able to keep track of ebbs and flows in the market as we get to our monthly market updates each month. So today, we're going to break down exactly what's happening across Hampton Roads, and there's going to be some numbers here that's going to stick out. I'm going to share my screen with you here in a minute so that way that you can actually see the exact numbers that we're looking at across the market and where some of the highlights are in the market and some of the surprising things that we have seen that came across the market a bit here too. We'll break down exactly what's going across all the 7 cities. Then we'll break down each individual city about what's really showing a significant trend in those areas. But then we'll get into a little bit of the things that you want. We won't keep you long here. So do me a favor first. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell so that way that you can always be the first to learn new things that's happening in the Hampton Roads market, and we find out the biggest updates that we're bringing to you each and every time a new video releases from this channel. So let's get directly into what is happening over in Hampton Roads. So first of all, we'll start with, as I share my screen, exactly we had about 2,600 transactions take place in the last week. Okay, so let's just break down exactly what that looks like across all properties, and then we'll get into exactly which each one of the cities shows us a trend of currently at this point in time. Right now across Hampton Roads, we had over 849 new listings in the last week. 48 of these listings that actually went under contract over a period of time have now come back on the market, whether that be because buyers cannot get the financing or something that held up in the contingencies where the buyer released or the seller either released the buyer back to their EMDs or EMDs fell through, or basically something happened that the deal just could not be actually finished. So we have 48 listings come back on the market this week. Then we've seen 252 price decreases across Hampton Roads. Now, to me, that is interesting because it's one of those things that we always talk about when you are sitting down with your clients and you're trying to make sure that the market is actually going to have a home that's going to be evaluated at the right levels. Now, certain cases lead to where valuations are not in the best situations, whether that's the buyer, whether that's the seller actually thinking their home is worth a certain amount, or the agent not actually giving enough data points to the seller to understand why the home should be positioned and priced at this level in the markets that it's currently in. And sometimes there are things that just that the market is just going to dictate that homes are not going to sell at certain prices. I know that you probably see all over CNBC, CNN, any one of those channels that you want to watch where the mainstream media may just be suggesting that sellers can throw whatever price they want to on the street for their home and they're going to get buyers in. But buyers are really being very thought-provoking, very understanding about what their position is in the market. And in certain cases, sellers may be making certain upgrades to properties where they're not going to get that value back. And that sometimes make deals actually go south. Well, what is an example of that? I will always stress to be careful about solar panels, okay? Solar panels don't actually get appraised in a lot of areas for the valuation that they may bring in for the biggest purchase that you're actually making. And these solar panels actually go into a second position sometimes, and this can actually make it on your second position on your title. And when you have a second lien on your title, that means that either one, as a seller, you have to pay that whole solar panel off, or you have to be able to transfer it. Now, if you are transferring it to the buyer have to be able to assume that loan. That means they have to not only qualify for the home that they're purchasing most of the times if they're not paying in cash, or they have to, and they also have to in conjunction qualify for the solar panels as well. So if they are very new solar panels where you may have got a $36,000 to $40,000 solar panel installed in your home, and you now trying to sell it because you thought that's going to increase the valuations, it may make your home unmarketable in certain cases. Okay, so keep that in mind. This is like why I talk about price decreases. Though price decreases across the board are going to happen because sometimes we overshoot, or sometimes the market is just going to dictate the affordability of their home just not does not match what the market feels is the right price for their home. So you got to keep a lot of that in perspective as well too. Now, but we have seen 43 price increases as well across Hampton Roads as well too, with 589 pending transactions right now, where homes are really waiting on the financing to come into place, or the finalization of title for transfer of the deeds, are actually sitting in pole position at 589 homes this week. Now, sold listings, 513 sold listings this week, and we've seen just about 209 homes get rented out this week now. And I can tell you that the rental market in Hampton Roads is getting very competitive. It's really not a lot of inventory in rentals, especially depends on price points that you're looking in. It's just starting to get a lot difficult right now for people who are looking to rent, to find areas to rent as well. So for investors, this is a situation where the amount of homes that you actually have that you can put up for rent is actually starting to show a trend where you are more likely starting to dictate the dollars that you want in the rental market. Now, in certain cases, some homes are just not going to rent, but in most cases, if the home is presented correctly and it actually has the right feel for the family or the person who are actually trying to move into that home, you're more likely going to get the rent demand that you're looking for as well. Now, we actually have only 25 expired listings across Hampton Roads this week. And that could be for any odd reasons. And most of the time, it's just because some of those contracts are 6 months, 8 months, and some of those homes just did not list. If you are interested in that type of information of why some of these homes are actually on the market a little bit longer, let's have a conversation about it. Definitely leave comments down down below and let us know, what are you actually thinking about when it comes to expires, and there are questions that you may have, so we can answer those in a later video for you as well too. But we had 112 withdrawals across the marketplace. Now, withdrawals are things that can happen for whatever reasons that they may be, because withdrawals are one of those things where seller and agent don't work out. Family plans change. We spoke about this a lot lately, but I just want to make sure I reiterate, withdrawals does not mean that homes are not selling. Withdrawals just can be reasons why. It could be other subjective reasons why that impacted the transaction from taking place, why the seller decided to take the home off the market. Now, I mean, obviously there are opportunity times where a home may have just sat too long and the agent cannot get the home sold, so the sellers may decide they wanted to switch agents. And if that is the case, hey, feel free to give us a call. But no, realistically, if that is not the case, sometimes it could just be that things just happen. Like, i.e., a military service member could actually be thinking that they're moving to a different part of the country and they're putting their house up for sale because they want to purchase another home in the location that they're going to. And this is going to be something that's going to be required for them to have the cash flow to actually make the next deal work. And then the military says, well, we don't really know if we're moving you, or we decided we were going to keep you in the area. And that could be a reason for a withdrawal in itself. Okay, so this is another example there. But we also had 9 fall throughs, okay, for these 2,649 transactions. But what I really want to talk to you about, let's just go back through and just talk about who led the way in each one of these cities when it comes to certain criteria. So if you don't know, Hampton Roads is actually consists of Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Hampton, Portsmouth, Suffolk, Chesapeake, and did I miss one? Newport News. Yes. So now there's other cities, smaller cities in those areas as well as too, but we are focusing on the direct 7 because that's where a lot of people make their final destinations to, and that's where, like, this is a heavy military presence town. So with it being a big military town, we always want to make sure that we're focusing on those areas because those are where the military installations are at in these major areas as well too. So this is one of the reasons why we love talking about neighborhood tour videos, but we're not here for that this week. We are going to be focused on directly giving you information about the market. And here we are here. So let's talk about new listings. New listings that we've seen, 147 of the 849 listings that's actually on the market right now have come from Virginia Beach. Okay, so with that you see those are actually Virginia Beach leads the categories for new listings, back on market, and price decreases. Okay, and even pending and sold listings. So Virginia Beach had another record week, not another record week, we want to say record, but has led the way across the 7 cities for the second week in a row, where we've seen just a massive amount of transactions taking place in that city each and every week. Typically, we'll see Chesapeake follow suit right behind them, but blown Chesapeake out by having 383 different type of transactions this week over in Chesapeake versus that 514 in Virginia Beach is just astounding. But new listings, 147 new listings in Virginia Beach. So there's still opportunities that's still coming abound to actually move into Virginia Beach. It's just got to find the right home for you. But then in Chesapeake, we see 129 new listings actually there as well. And Chesapeake is one of those communities where, one of those cities where schools are in high demand. So a lot of people want to move to the Hickory and Grassfield school districts over in Chesapeake, so that way they can get their kids the best public school education that they believe that they can give across the 7 cities. Now, so we see a lot of people who call us and have conversations with us about what's going on over in Chesapeake. How can we find them a home out there? Because they want to be in those school zones. And a lot of the times those school zones are the ones that are on the market only for about 3 to 4 days typically that we see. We can go, they can see a house listed on Thursday. By Sunday evening, they may have 20 to 25 offers. This is no exaggeration. And agents have to either filter through those or cut off offers because they just know they're not going to be able to get through a lot of them. And some of these are cash deals, folks. Okay. So there we go with that. But now we've seen a type of price increases, okay, in Norfolk, which they had 314 transactions this week and 86 new listings, but they had 5 price increases. And over in Suffolk, they had 5 price increases as well on 211 transactions this week and 56 new listings. So we've seen cities actually continue to show a strength in actually having prices increase due to the fact that the market is still dictating price increases coming along. And sometimes these price decreases are to bring in more buyers, and price increases is to get stronger offers actually brought into the market as well too. So they can be counterintuitive in certain ways, but most of the time that's what we see with those offers going in those different directions. Now with withdrawals, Suffolk by far led with 19 withdrawals that's actually happening in the marketplace. And that's an interesting stat this week with 19 withdrawals, because I really wanted to know more about those. So I had to do a little bit more digging and investigative information gathering to actually understand why those withdrawals are on the marketplace like this. That's happening over in Suffolk. Maybe there may just be just not enough buyer demand for certain properties, or they're located in certain areas. And a lot of times when withdrawals happen, this is why I like to make sure we specify what's going on. And matter of fact, I will pull this up here while we're on right now, because I'm pretty sure when I pull this up, what's going to happen is I'm looking Suffolk, and a lot of their withdrawals are going to be simply new construction. A lot of times what we have that happens is that we'll see new constructions actually go on the market, and they don't get a lot of individuals ready to purchase those plots or those lands for building. So the builder winds up having to pull those off the market. And actually, I'm going to show you this here right now, because it's exactly what we're seeing a little bit here. Now, some of these are actually active listings that's on the marketplace right now that are actually just being withdrawn as well too. But I'm sorry, that's not the right screen. So we'll stop that and bring this one up here. Yeah, here we go. So you'll see here, we actually have, I'm just gonna click through some of these so you can kind of see where we're at with new construction. So this is a new construction home, not built yet. So that's one of them. This is a withdrawal that's actually on the market right now. That was over in Saratoga Place. This is over in Kingfisher Point. This was a withdrawal as well too, after 35 days on the market. Then we see this one right here at Watch Harbor Court over in the Riverfront. This was a $935,000 original list price, actually dropped to $899,000. So this is over in the Riverfront, and we did actually a video neighborhood tour over at the Riverfront. So if you want to check out that video, definitely check it out here. We'll actually leave a link in the description as well too, so you can check it out after this video as well too if you want to see more about this community. It's a beautiful community. But then this is the new construction here at Meadows Landing, which we did a video there as well. And I think Meadows Landing had a lot of withdrawals this week, actually. So there's another new construction. New construction again in Meadows Landing, but this is actual active. It's actually been already built. It appears. Oh nope, it's not built yet. This is in Meadows Landing as well too. And then this is actually a new development as well too on Spruce Street. Now this one is in Riverfront as well. So this is the second home that we saw in the Riverfront at Harborview already. That's not that was a withdrawal. So this is in Oakland Lakes. Oakland Acres on Pembroke Lane. This was a withdrawal as well. Then Oak Ridge had a withdrawal. So here's another development here with the retreat at Harborview. So this is one right here is actually a 55 plus community as well too. So that is a withdrawal. Another new development at Strawberry Landing withdrawal. Then Planter Station, which that's going to have the new Publix that's going to be built in the community soon. And then you saw this is that retreat at Harbor Cove over in Harborview. And this is the last one, another one. So for the most majority of these homes that was actually withdrawn, a few of them may have been actual homes that may be actively on the market as residential property, but a lot of them was new construction, like I was saying. So that's what you have to kind of take into consideration sometimes, that sometimes the data just shows things that we have to, as agents, we have to spell out because it's just a snapshot without actually having some type of substance available to you as well. So now with Portsmouth, we had 59 new listings, Hampton 45 new listings, and Newport News 68 new listings. Now, for our people who are looking at multifamily properties, because we usually get a lot of phone calls from people who want to have conversations about buying duplexes, buying triplexes, buying quadplexes, quadruplex, because a lot of people are hearing right now in the media or they're seeing on YouTube, basically, house hacking. And a lot of people are trying to get into it. So for the definition for house hacking, for those who may not know, is basically when you buy a multi-unit property, a one to two to three or four type place home. So an individual single family property, or you're buying a duplex, which is 2 units. You buy a triplex, which has 3 units in it, or a quadruplex, which has 4 units in it. And you can live in one, either in a single family home, you can live in one of the bedrooms and rent out however many other bedrooms you have. That's house hacking. Or having a duplex, triplex, quadruplex, where you can rent out a particular unit while living in one as your primary residence and having that cash flow that's coming in to offset your mortgage. However you want to look at it. That's house hacking. So for our multifamily units, we had 15 new listings, and we had 2 that came back on the market, 6 with price decreases, and now 12 are actually pending, and 10 sold this week, and 1 withdrawal this week alone. Okay, so that's what's happening with our multifamily listings right there. But let's talk about the highest sold listing this week over in Hampton Roads. And that distinction is going to be a $1.6 million listing. And that was over in Virginia Beach actually as well too. But then we had a 40, and it was actually bought all cash. Okay, that was actually the buyer of that home actually bought it in all cash. Lowest sold listing of this week was a $45,000 home, and that was bought in all cash as well. The highest sold multifamily unit property that we had sold this week was for $775,000. That was that was a conventional loan. And the lowest sold multifamily unit that we had available this week was a $126,000 home as well. Now, across Hampton Roads and across these 7 cities, the average sold price this week was actually around $362,841, with the average list price being on the market about $359,220. So what that kind of tells you is that list to sold price ratio is actually a little bit higher. People are paying on average a little bit more higher premium to get into these homes, which to me signals that there is multiple offer situations still happening across the board, and you're having to be competitive against the competition with your offer to actually get the terms correct as well too, to actually, or get the best terms available to actually get these homes under contract. Now, The average price per square foot based on that sold price number that we gave you for this week pushes that number up to about $199.63 for the week. And the average days on market that we've seen across the board in Hampton Roads for this week has been seeing these homes go into contract and sold at about 22 days. Okay. So yeah, that's our market watch daily update for this week. We would definitely be back next week with another market watch update. Let us know, how do you feel about the content that we're providing you when it comes to keeping you informed about what's happening on Hampton Roads real estate market? And definitely, if you found value in this content, please hit the like button and go ahead and please subscribe to the channel as well too. And don't forget to ring that notification bell so that way you can always be the first to learn about everything that's happening in Hampton Roads right here exclusively. Okay. So once again, my name is Craig Houston. I'm your host from the Moving to Norfolk team. We'll catch you in the next episode. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.